Hello mates, so welcome to the Baron Reviews with me, the Baron, and I thought I'd do a little tilt brush story time video. It's that time again. I'm quite into this, to be honest with you. I'm quite enjoying these little story time videos because it gives me a chance to kind of casually chat. And you know, in other games, it's like a little bit too kind of action packed. I'm not the best multitasker. So, but tilt brush is just nice, you know. Now, hang on a second. Let me just. Same issue as always. I never know what to use. How about marker? We use marker. We'll try it. We'll try it. So let's see. I thought I would do a little Baron while I tell you guys a story that popped into my mind recently. So I was at a pub here. So I'm in the United States right now. I think most of you guys know I'm from Ireland originally. And my favorite drink by far is Guinness. But it's hard to find like a good Guinness, I find. And one thing I noticed a lot of Americans seem to do is, like, I went to a pub there recently, I ordered a Guinness, and your woman went to the, to grab like a bottle, and she pulled the bottle out of the cooler, and it was like completely freezing cold. And then she handed me, like a chilled glass, which I assume would be, the custom for like a lot of beers. And then, that's cool. Like I don't mind. I'm not going to say anything, but that's weird to me. That's a weird way to drink Guinness. So from what I always learned, growing up and stuff. Growing up, that actually makes it sound terrible. I was drinking when I was a kid, but Guinness is typically drank at. Now, contrary to popular belief, some people think it gets drank warm. It's actually drank room temperature, and the reason is because if it's too cold, what'll happen is, now watch me fuck this part up. What'll happen is the head on it will go completely flat, and so as a result, you will drink a room temperature. Now, back in my day, we used to drink Guinness with room temperature glasses too. Now, I don't know when the hell this happened, but that kind of changed actually, even in like modern in modern Ireland. That's not necessarily the case anymore. Like I've gone back to Ireland and they've served me Guinness in a chilled glass. So I don't know when that became like a thing or whatever, but that's a thing now. But anyway, it's all about room temperature Guinness, and it seems to be kind of the case that Americans, don't really understand that or don't care. I'm not sure. But when I was a young man, I used to be a barman, which is kind of, no, I'm sure no surprise to anyone. Me and every other Irishman were barmen. And I remember I worked at this pub, and it was a pretty big pub. It had it was like one pub, but it had like 5 bars. So there was like a whiskey bar, there was the downstairs pool bar, the lounge where they play music, and then upstairs was a cocktail bar. I used to be a cocktail waiter, a cocktail barman, would you believe, actually. And then there was like the nightclub bar. And anyway, I was fairly new at this job. And so here, I was going to try to draw the Baron here, but you know what? If I do like a puppet mouth, it's going to look fucking bananas. Oh, maybe it won't. Hang on. Maybe it won't. Fuck it. Is that weird? Is that weird? Should I just do a normal... should I just do an... well, fuck. Well, let's try. We'll try to do the puppet mouth. Anyway, he looks like fucking... what's that character from Mortal Kombat? With the big mouth and like reptile teeth. Reptile? Is that the character's name? Anyway, so I worked this bar. I was fairly new there. And, still learning the ropes, still, getting used to everything. And one day I came in and the roster said, I was on the downstairs bar, which was the pool bar. And that intimidated me because that's where all the regulars would be. And so generally they only put the most experienced barmen down there. Now, they never really said why. I thought that was maybe just how it is, because, the regulars want to see like the familiar experienced barman or whatever. And so anyway, oh fuck, that's too crazy. Okay, that's too crazy. Hang on, I'm just gonna do a normal mouth, because I fucking suck at drawing. There we go. So I got into this pool bar anyway, and it's busy and stuff, and this fella comes up, the first fella of the night, who orders a Guinness. And he's some old fella, and orders a Guinness. I say, yep, no problem. I go to get it for him, and I pour it, put it in front of him. There you go. That'll be whatever, it was €5 or whatever. And he doesn't touch it. He doesn't even move. He just looks at it. And he says to me, he's like, "What's that?" And I'm like Guinness. And he's like, no. What's that? And he points at something in the pint glass, and it's a little tiny bubble. Little tiny bubble in the pint of Guinness, just floating on the top of it. And so I see this, and I'm like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Like, just, I don't know how to react. So I'm just kind of being nice. I'm like, ah, ha, ha. But he's not laughing. And he says to me, "You know what? Pour it again." And I'm like, ha, smiling. He's like, no, seriously, pour it again. And I see he's not fucking joking. Now, I think if this happened to me now, like in this day and age, I'd probably be like, fuck off. But, I was like 18 years old or whatever, 18 or 19. Didn't have a good kind of sense of confidence about these things, so pour it again. And of course, the fucking second point is much worse. It's foams and stuff like that. Absolute disaster. And he says, I was like, oh shit, sorry. And he's like, pour it again. I was like, fucking hell. So I pour it again and again and again and again. Until eventually, I can't remember how many, but maybe 4 points later, I get an acceptable point. And he takes his point and he fucks off. And it's no joke, man. Like in Ireland anyway, it is no joke. At least with those regulars, they're not kidding around. There's a very serious Guinness culture out there. No, I mean, I love really good points, well poured points, the same as anyone. I fucking hate going to an American pub and getting those shitty cold glasses. I hate that. But I wouldn't go as far as that dude, like, and be a dickhead about it or anything like that. But yeah, it's a real thing, and it's like the gist is, we serve it in a Guinness glass. You should serve it a 45 degree angle. Start turning it when the Guinness gets up as far as the harp. That's when you start to level off. Then you fill it up almost full way. Let me draw a little Guinness here. Of course, it's going to come out completely black, isn't it? There we go. Nice pint of Guinness. Get some head on the top of this. There you go. That does not look like Guinness at all, does it? Okay, well, you have to take my word for it. When it's about maybe 80% full, or just at the point of the harp, past the harp, sorry, that's when you want to let it settle. And by settling, what that means is you'll see all the little bubbles floating through it and stuff. Well, just let them come to rest. Then you want to finish it off the rest of the way, and the head in it should be about the size of a 10-cent coin. Trying if I could think what the equivalent of that is in dollars. What's your equivalent of a 10-cent coin? But anyway, that's the gist. And then you'll always know a good point because it should be nice and creamy as you drink it. It should be creamy going down the side of your glass. If it's watery going down the side of your glass, not a good point. And if it's not creamy, like another thing that could be gone wrong is it may have it may be kind of flat, and that could happen too as a result of, as I say, taking it out of the cooler. You don't want to do that. Get a hat going here. Forgot about the hat. No, I'm not the best at drawing hats. Hang on. A little bit like this. Oh, Jesus, that's terrible. Hang on. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's not bad. I'll go with that. Decent. But those regulars, man, like I remember there's one time I was working down there. I used to despise working down there because of, some of the way those people were. But I remember I was working down there one time, and is that hat like way too high in his head? That's a bit high, isn't it? Fuck that. Okay. I was working down there one time, and it was really busy down there. And this fellow walks in, who's a regular, but I didn't know him. And there's maybe like 4 or 5 people deep, at the bar. And the guy behind the regular, he walks through, and he catches my eye, as he's walking by behind this mountain of people. And he just raises a finger. He just raises one finger. That's all he does. Well, I'm like, what the fuck's that about? I was like, okay, but it don't, whatever. And then about, get rid of all the customers at the bar. About 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, he's like, here, where's my drink? And I was like, oh, sorry, mate. Like, what did you order? And he got so mad. Because apparently, raising his hand, like raising one finger in the feckin' background, that's supposed to mean, I would like a brandy, please. And I would like it in a special, not brandy glass. There was some feckin' glass that he liked to have his brandy in. But it was not a brandy glass. That's just like, fucking hell, mate. Like, it's mad how it's there. But you know what? It made me realize, I think that's the kind of shit that I think they are the way they are. Because I think, these dudes, they come along, and it's a little bit like that TV show Cheers, it's just like, they like the concept of like where everybody knows your name, and they come in, they might have kind of fucking just really normal lives, and it sucks. And then suddenly here they come into this pub, and everybody knows them, and all their mates are there, and they all know them, and they can walk in and do stupid shit like raise a hand, and that means like they're so well known that means like, oh hey, I'll have a brandy in a weird glass. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I might give them a little kind of, I don't know, self-worth boost or something, It's a little bit sad, but that's my theory on it, And anything that comes along and challenges that, they're not into that, So in case you haven't figured out what I'm drawing here, this is me working at the pub. Now, get some taps going here, or I suppose taps are more like grey, aren't they? But yeah, just working there, like it just used to. Oh, it used to be horrible, man. Just because of the way, some were great, but like the majority of those guys were just very tough to deal with. Actually, it kind of makes me laugh just thinking about that, because they're out there somewhere now, and. I mean, this was years ago, like I said, when I was a young man, so they're probably old men by now. In fact, they definitely are. That's kind of crazy. I never really thought about that. They're definitely like old seniors right now. But yeah, it's weird to think that they're out there somewhere, and like we never really crossed paths again after that bar stopped. Or hang on, what are we doing? Okay, so that's a little handle here, little red handle. Or actually, hang on, more like this. Looks good. And then let's do a little Guinness over here. The whole Guinness thing, by the way, that's why it always makes me laugh. St. Patrick's Day in America. I love the enthusiasm, don't get me wrong. But it's a bit too fucked up. But it just makes me laugh because, everyone's out drinking Guinness. in these feckin' little red, whatever the fuck you call them, plastic cups. And that's just so funny to me, because it's like, if you really were into the culture, you know, you would know that was a big no, you know, for Guinness. Drinking Guinness out of a feckin' little red paper cup, like some fraternity or something like that. But St. Patrick's Day, I mean, that's a whole other animal. I mean, I had to forget about it myself, you know, and then I had to see people walking down the street in red beards and shit. Red beards. I mean, it's the hardest thing to describe. First of all, I really appreciate like that. You know, people are out trying to celebrate your culture, but oftentimes it's very misplaced, isn't it? Like, it's like, think about the connotations here. Like, you're hitting the street in like a green leprechaun outfit or whatever, wearing a red beard. It's not exactly a celebration of Irish culture, is it? It's more like it's like an accidental bastardization of the culture, to be honest. It'll be like, imagine if you're American. Imagine you go to a America festival, okay? And you go inside, and there's all these guys walking around in cowboy boots and cowboy hats, and they're all walking around with like Big Macs, and you know, they have revolvers on them and stuff. You would kind of say like, yeah, like I see where you're coming from, but you know, you kind of missed the mark with what American culture is, you know. And it's the same thing with that. Like, I remember dog sitting this one time. Actually, what else? I'll put a little bowl of peanuts. How about that? I was dog sitting this one time, and there was this woman who was supposed to like meet me halfway during the week, and she dropped over the house, and she's supposed to take over. And I remember the owner had told me, oh, you know, her name and blah, blah, blah. And like, oh my gosh, she's so excited to meet you because she's like a huge Ireland enthusiast. And I was like, oh, brilliant. Like, that's cool. Like, super excited to meet her. That's great. And so I met her, and, you know, she's an older woman, and she had a little present for me. She gave me, and I still have it to this day, actually. I have it on my wall. She gave me this little present. It was like an Irish blessing, one of these kind of things, you know, one of these like passive aggressive Irish blessings. And I still, like I said, I have it hung up on my wall to this day. But I remember anyway, she was so into like chatting about Ireland, and she was telling me, she's like, oh, I'm in this Irish, you know, choir. And, you know, she's like really into telling me about that. And she starts suddenly singing. She's like, do you know this song? She says some name I don't know. I'm like, no. She starts singing it, and it's some diddly like, you know, 18th century, you know, Irish ditty, you know, like, it's like, what the and she's singing it, and she's like, come on, you know the words, sing along. It's like, lady, I'm from the city. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up in Dublin City, like I don't know, like, I'm not from a farm or something like that, or a little cottage. But you know, that's the way it is. It's just some people kind of have misconceptions. Fella I used to work with in St. Louis, he said to me one time, these kind of look like Cheetos in here, but that's okay. Maybe they have Cheetos in this bowl. The fella said to me, I remember he'd never been outside St. Louis in his life. His whole world was just like local. He had no care to think about greater America, let alone you know, the greater world or whatever. And so we're working together one day. He turns to me and says, he's like, yeah, so what's Ireland like? And I'm like, well, you know, like, it's different, you know. He's like, oh, right. He's like, like what exactly would you say is different? And I was like, well, you know, like, all sorts of things. I was like, the roads, for example. And then what I meant by that is that we don't have like 6-lane highways, you know. That's what I meant. I meant like the roads are kind of smaller. He's like, oh, right, yeah. He's like, you guys don't have like paved roads, right? It's like, geez, like, what? Like, what the hell? And I was like, yeah, like, we have roads, like, yeah, just normal roads. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, what about like movies? He's like, you guys don't have movies, right? I was like, Of course we have movies. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I know. But he's like, you guys have your own movies, right? He's like, you wouldn't have, say, like Spider-Man or something, right? Just like, what the like, and I mean, you know, what can you do? Like, if I met someone from, like, I don't know, like, you know, Asia somewhere. I mean, I'm sure I would make a lot of misconceptions about their country and stuff like that. But I mean, that was particularly like, wow, that's a real swing and a miss, you know. Real nice dude though, just like real pleasant fella, but just really didn't give two shits about the world at large. Like if it was outside St. Louis, he didn't want to know about it. And then I had this other girl, same place. She said to me, she was a lovely girl, but you know, she turns out to me one day and she says, "Oh, how long have you been speaking English?" And I turn around to her and. No, just in case you did, maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys at home don't realize this. We speak English in Ireland as the first language. We learn Irish as kids in high school, or sorry, junior school, but we speak English natively. And so I was kind of joking. I was like teasing her. I was like, oh, wow. I was like, do I speak English so poorly? She's like, oh, gosh. She's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I didn't know you spoke English. She's like, I thought it was a foreign language. I thought you guys spoke French or something. I don't know. And I tell you something. She wasn't joking, man. Like, lovely girl, but not the sharpest knife in the drawer, you know. Anyway, here we are. This was me, age 18, working away at the old pub, serving peanuts and Guinness. Well, anyway, maybe I'll leave it there for today. Just a little story time for you guys. Thanks to you for watching, and until next time, cheers.